I'm back for part 3 of my Micklehurst Loop line series.
In today's video, we're going to be continuing our journey on the Micklehurst Loop line, between the sections of the Royal George Tunnel's western portal and the Staley and Millbrook station.
It's raining today, so I'm going to see what I can find between this section, between the old Royal George Tunnel and the Staley and Millbrook station. Behind me here you would have had another cut-in, and it would have been the western end of the Royal George Tunnel. Absolutely completely buried over just here. Round about here would have been a tunnel portal. I think just there you can see how the earth just moves up. So it's around about 140 yards, just running through the underneath the pub where I left off in part 2. So that cutting will probably come out here and then made its way down here. So just here, you'd have been looking at the face of the Royal George western entrance. As you can see, it's all just been completely filled in. So back there, you've got the tunnel portal entrance, and somewhere around here would have been what I had Mossley Gasworks. Now, there are some buildings just there, and according to this map, there was Mossley Gasworks was just around here, so I'm wondering if there was potentially some sidings that went in there. Now that building there, I'm not sure if it's modern or if it was part of the Mossley Gasworks. So if you do know, please leave a comment. So we're making our way further down the line, and somewhere around here would have been a bridge. Now there was a footbridge that went over the line, and I'm wondering if it was somewhere around here. Now there is a little bit of stone or rock in the corner there, and I wonder if that was potentially part of the bridge that went over there. And I think it was. So this is, I think, a remains of a bridge that you're going to see on the map. And I'm assuming it is, because the stone at the bottom, or the brick, whatever it's made out of, only goes for a short while. So I think, yeah, we're looking at the remains of a bridge here. Now there's vegetation hiding. Oh, let's make my way down here, but yeah, I think we're looking at the remains of the bridge. So if you have a little look over at this side, I think there's just some hidden stone behind there. So I think potentially this was the first bridge. So just as I made my way further down, I found these red bricks here. Now that looks more like original railway brick. So I'm wondering if that was actually the bridge. A little zoom in there, I think that was actually the remains of the bridge and not what I saw back there. I'm not going to go up there and investigate too much, but it looks like there's some like foundations here. So a little zoom back in there, you can see there. So have a look on the other side. I don't think there's much left. In fact, you can't really see much. So as I've made my way further down towards Micklehurst Station, I've just come across this here. And again, it looks like old railway walling. Now, it looks more like a retaining wall. However, I'm wondering if it was part of the other bridge that was slightly further down. It's definitely old railway brick. I think, again, there was another bridge that led from over there to over here. Now there doesn't seem to be much to report on the way to Micklehurst Station from the Royal George Tunnel. It's just majority of its track, but when we get there I'm going to show you the station house. Now, fun enough, this station opened at the same time as the rest of them, however it closed 10 years earlier than the rest of them. So this one closed in 1907. Few remains of some old fence posts just down there, just hidden in the back, but nothing much to report. I think there might be a little bit more railway relics, but it's really overgrown. So it looks like the line, obviously it was 2 tracks. You can see how it splits now, so a lot of earth has been moved in here. So I think you probably had more track just to the left of me here, and then another one on the right. You can just see how the earth has now been lifted since they converted this bridleway. And just as I spoke, we've got a nice looking structure coming up, and a retaining wall just on the left here. A nice structure in front of us. You can tell it's part of the old line. Looks to me a bit like blue engineering brick. There's a lot of graffiti at the bottom. It's in decent condition. There's a bit of movement in the brick lining up there. You can see how there are a few missing. A nice little old structure still left behind, which is good to see. And a view from the other side. Stunning, still to see it remain. Apart from the graffiti, of course. Anyway, let's head along the line and see where we come to Micklehurst Station. Got more retaining walls just in the corner here that supports this little cutting. Looks like an old, well, I don't think it's a railway sleeper bench, but wonder if this was part of a signal pole that was here. I'm not going to lift that up, but I think that was potentially a signal pole. Let me know in the comments. So I'm approaching Micklehurst Station now. You can see that the track is at ground level here. Now, Micklehurst Station, the station building is just in front of me, but what you would have had here was a inclined, or the embankment was quite high. So here they would have had an embankment that was really high up, and the station platforms were actually made out of wood. So this here, like I say, was a high embankment, and the train would have been at a higher level up here as it went past the Micklehurst Station house. I think it had made its way just round here, and you wouldn't believe that looking at it now. I think that's just the remains of the embankment, and then it would have made its way across a viaduct going across here. So from around here, this is where the viaduct would have made its way across the valley, right over there. So you've got the Micklehurst Station house over there. You can see like a plaque on the corner. And just at the far side, if you have a look down at the bottom right, there would have been like a ticket booth. And then that high embankment that was at the corner, that would have led behind the station. And the viaducts then would have led over the top of the valley, going over that way. That was Micklehurst Station, again opening in 1886, closing to passengers in 1907, even though it carried on open until freight until 1962. So just here is where you would have had the viaduct. And I think it was called Micklehurst Viaduct, that spanned over this village and probably just over the top of where those houses are. And then the line would have then continued There's an embankment down the corner, down just where those trees are. So this is the abutment where the viaduct would have crossed over the line. Now, I believe the majority of this section of the line is on private property, so what I have to do now is walk down the canal and find my way back onto the track bed from the other side. So just another shot from this side showing where the railway line went. So that's the embankment there, going right through, so I believe the majority of this section is on private property. So I'm having to walk down onto the Huddersfield narrow canal. The line is back behind there, and you've got like industrial estates, pallet place. So we're now going to have to find our way back onto the line going down the Huddersfield narrow canal. So before we head back onto the line, just in front of me we've got this nice little canal tunnel. I think it's called Scout Tunnel or Stout Tunnel. So we're now going to take you through a little walkthrough before we head back onto the line. Had a little walk through Scout Tunnel, which runs underneath the embankment under here, going towards Ashton-under-Lyne. So I think it opened in 1875. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find my way back onto the track bed and see what remains I can find. So the canal's there, the Scout Tunnel's just under here, and we've now found our way back onto the line. So if we just have a little walk down here, we're going to come across an abutment. Now there must have been a railway bridge that crossed over. Now I am not walking through that, however, if I can just give you a nice little glimpse at the abutment, you can just see where a bridge would have crossed over the top here. Looks like we can make our way back onto the line by this footpath. So let's head on and see if we can come across these goods sheds. So there's your close-up of the abutment, still there. Nice to see, still quite, well, a little bit derelict. You can just see all the old masonry is loose. Yeah, it's definitely wearing away in time. So we're making our way back onto the track bed. Let's have a little glimpse on the abutment. So here we are. The bridge would have come this way across the top. And there's the other side. So now we're going to make our way this way, heading towards, I believe there's some goods sheds. We're in a nice little wooden section of the line. As you can see now, it's a little bit more woodland, or it's a lot more woodland. Could you see an old, it looks like a railway sleeper down there, or is it like an old signal post or fence post or something. You can see we're in quite a deep cutting now. And just coming up ahead, we've got what looks like a nice little structure coming. So let's see what we can find when we get there. Got a bridge here, an original railway bridge. Let's have a look at the condition. A lot of graffiti at the bottom. And masses and masses of loose masonry. And again, it looks like old blue engineering brick. And then just underneath, it looks like it's got iron supports that support the bridge. Just standing there abandoned. Looks brilliant. Apart from the graffiti, of course. So I had to make my way off the track bed because down there is absolutely just a quagmire of mud. As you can see, I did not come prepared for that. So there's that bridge that I've just shown. You can see some retaining walls down there, but literally it's just vegetation, and for a lot it was like a mud, and it was like a quagmire, sorry. So I'm gonna see if I can make my way back down onto the line. So back onto the track bed, certainly a lot more walkable. Now just here, you would have had some sidings that would have led down to a goods shed. Now I kid you not, I came down here last year to have a look, and the goods shed's still there. Now from the looks of it, I heard a rumour that the goods shed was taken down, and it looks like they were correct. It looks like you can see a load of rubble over there where there were a goods shed. Now when I came down last year, the goods shed was still there. So I wonder if they've done this recently. So what you would have had here is some sidings, a track that would have gone into the goods shed. So let's see if we can go down here and see if there's anything left. Looks like here you've got some sort of signal post. And yeah, here we are. We've got the remains of the old goods shed. You can see all the graffiti that was still there. Now I do remember when I came here last year that it was still left here, and there were even still pieces of little bits of track, but clearly obliterated. Got one here. And you've got one up here. Now from what I can remember from when I came last year is both the sheds, I think they were around about here, but absolutely obliterated. No more, and that's disappointing. Masses and masses of rubble still left. And I think then, as they were around about here, you would have had a track that would have led off back onto the line that way. So that's where we're going to head now. Another railway wall here still, that's just left. You can just see down there some old fence posts. Nice coping stones. Now I'm unsure what this is. Now it's part of the line. However, I'm assuming that it was some sort of drainage channeling for the power station. You can just see the remains of some infrastructure there. Can anyone tell me what that is? Leave it a comment in the box. So we've just made it to this conveyor belt, which was part of what we call the Millbrook sidings. And I think you would have had a track that would have come off the line into this area here. And what would have happened was, if I can get there, you would have had a loading train that would have stopped around this section here, and it would have transported goods over to the Artshead power station. As you can see, the conveyor belt's still there. So here's the conveyor belt. You can see you would have a train, a wagon, would have pulled up here and started loading goods down into the power station. Then I think it would have had there'd have been another track here that would have gone into the goods yard, or this sidings here. So this was called Millbrook sidings, I believe. So you got here the Millbrook sidings, still standing. Just back over there, you've got the power station where you can see the conveyor belt would have gone over to. Take a little look in the siding shed. Now you can see, just as we're looking, how stairs would have gone up. Clearly you can see that they've been demolished and taken down. You can still see the supports. And the goods train would have come in here somewhere, and I believe they've been parked up just here for loading. So here we've got an old railway sleeper. Just have a little look what we can see in here. So just taking a little poke in. You can just see how bare it is in there. Just having a little look up at the construction. You can see where stairs have been demolished. I think there's about 2, 3, 4, 5 mounts of stairs that have been taken out. You can just see there was something down here and some old supports that look like they've been demolished. And I think then you would have had the loading bay here. So I think just here we're looking at like an old staff room or an old room. Now there's no doorway that goes in, or potentially that was there, which has been sealed up, but I think this was an old room. And if you have a look just here, that looks like it could have been an old fireplace. Potentially it looks like it was an old fireplace. Let me know in the comments. We can see a back wall here. So just beyond the old Millbrook sidings, majority of the line's all vegetation. Notice down there, there's a load of old railway fence posts that go down behind this vegetation. Now, just as I walk to the corner here, I believe now, we're at the corner of an embankment where we had another viaduct. So yeah, we've made it to the end of the track bed here. So there's an embankment, and here is where the start of a viaduct, and I think it was called Spring Grove Viaduct. Just behind all these trees would have spanned right across towards the Staley and Millbrook station. So you can see there where the embankment ends and the floor dips. So here is where the arches, and you wouldn't believe it, would have spanned across the valley or across the road, Spring Grove Road, heading towards the Staley and Millbrook station. So I've just come off the corner of the track bed, and what I've done is I've walked down right to the corner of the embankment. And just at the bottom here, I think you can see slight remains of that viaduct. I think it was anyway. You can just see some old railway. I think now it was built of stone, so I think here is just a little bit left of the Spring Grove Viaduct, which was demolished in 1991, I think. I think it was 1991, but I think we have a little remnants there. It then would have spanned across right over where my hand is, just where them trees are, and made its way over to Staley and Millbrook Station. I'm on Spring Grove Road, or Grove Road, where I'm going to conclude this video of the Micklehurst Loop Line Series Part 3. So just across there was Staley and Millbrook Station, and that's where I'm going to continue my venture in Part 4 of the Micklehurst Loop Line. So take care for now, guys. Please hit that subscribe button for more videos, and I'll see you next time for Part 4.